Good afternoon. How is everybody? This is Bradley McAllister, Spiracraft, kicking off the next series of shakedown runs with the new studio. I'll be out in front in just a minute as I am now turning on my Facebook monitor so I can see what's happening in the live feed. It's good to be back. We're going to have some fun today. I know it. I just know it. And I actually hit the start button right on time at 1 o'clock. So that's a good deal. Let's see here. Okay, I got my fan going for a little breeze. I have a new controller in place. And hopefully everything is going to look okay. Let's see. Number 3. There we go. That's me. Number 3. Okay, cool beans. Michael, afternoon, sir. Morning still in your world. I actually got it turned on again today, and I've made headway. Not as much as I'd like to. But hey, we're getting there. Each week it's another little bit. I wish I don't get enough hours out here to work on this, and hard as I try, you just never know. You know, it seems like it takes a lot of time. I did get all 8 ceiling outlets finally installed and set up yesterday. So now I have the first spotlight is up in place. I still need to do work on the cameras that'll go up and get that switcher in place. But I've been setting up the screens, trying to get the chroma key to look good. It looks pretty good. Oh, the one thing I forgot to do, because it's not automatic yet, is hit record, because I need to see how these play back, and I didn't do that last week. There we go. Once I get the intro turned back on, it's all automated and the record happens and the intro plays. But we just haven't quite gotten there yet, so it's a good deal. Like I said, I've got a new controller over here that controls the PTZ cameras, and I still don't have them completely dialed in yet either, but we're working on it. I've got another piece of software that allows me to do the zoom and whatnot. When I try and use the remotes, they control each other. So it's all a learning process, but I'm having fun. Hey, Jeff, good afternoon. And so I'm actually going to turn a little bit today. First time I've actually turned anything since we've been making the changes. The lathe is still on wheels because I'm moving everything around, the lathe and the table, working on the lights and the cameras. So I didn't want to do anything big. I should have it off the wheels for next week. And I believe I will probably do some bolt coring with the Big Max 4 next week. Like I say, once I get the lathe off the wheels, it's kind of shaky right now, but I still have to move it around. So I chose a little teeny project to work with, and as you can see from the piece of wood, it's a little piece of maple, something like that I found outside real quick in a box. And what I want to work with today is the Flexi-Hollower, the Woodcut Tools Flexi-Hollower, and I'll show you this again in the overhead. And right now, this is the one that articulates. Right now it's set up with the straight cutter. There is also, let me get it out of the bag here. There's also a curved one, a curved bar for more articulation. And I have not, let me get this out of this bag here. There's the little curve bar. So we've got a straight bar and a curve bar. And I have not used this tool yet. Michael Roper was using it at AEW for us, and I haven't even had a chance to play with it. So I thought, well, today's a good day to play with this guy. Your adjustments are here, and you can change it out. So I just want to make a little hollow form out of this guy. Just something real simple, just something to play with. Again, you know, the lathe is kind of shaky and all that stuff. Hey, all kinds of folks are jumping in here. Let's see. All right, makes a good candle holder. And I'm going to go fix one thing about that screen over there real quick. Apologies for walking off the camera. Need to get that. There's a bar that you don't see that it's in the way. Okay, there we go. And that's fixed. I hope the sound is coming through fine. Last week, when I watched the replays on Facebook and YouTube, my mouth was not synced to the image. I did do some record testing this morning, and it was synced. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens out there in the live world. Anyway, I'm going to make a little teeny hollow form, and that's what, if we were doing a big piece, like say I've got this one here and I had it on the lathe just, hanging around, I would use the big Proform hollowing tool with the 20-inch handle, okay? But we're going to use the baby brother today, and I'm going to use the twin collet handle, 1/2 inch and 3/8, and we're just going to pop this guy in here, and we can run it right down pretty close. We'll see. I'm going to use the iron tool gate, but this is so small I sure don't need much overhang. We want to keep that reduced. Okay, so we'll be using, I'll start with the straight and I'll articulate it some. I don't know if I'll change the head on it or not. We'll see. I'm going to use again the iron tool gate as my tool post and my tool rest. But first I just want to throw a little bit of shape onto this guy. Again, nothing fancy. I'm just going to take a little bowl gouge here and just put a little profile to it. And then we'll make a small entry hole and just kind of have a little bit of fun. Again, I'm shaking down the whole system, and it's just good to get something up and running and going on in here. Just as I made some small hats for my snowman with that size. I'd love to try and use something new on my bowls. Yes, these new tools are fun. Spiracraft started carrying them in December of last year, and it's been a real fun process. And the funny thing, guys, the last thing, it was like 5 minutes till, and I said, okay, I'm ready to go. And then I realized I didn't know where my face shield was because I had taken everything apart. So I was able to find it in a box. Hopefully I'll be able to see out of it. There we go. I got a fresh haircut too, so I'm good. All right, I just got a little Carter in the Sun, a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. I don't even have the grinder set up in here yet. Let's see. Let's go for, that's the end one. Yeah, we'll go with the end. So this guy is not perfectly round or anything, but we'll fix that. We'll make just a little simple shape out of it. Michael Lang, hey, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you dropping in. All right, so that camera's supposed to be focused. I'm trying to get the autofocus, manual focus thing dialed in here. I was going to turn to my flip-flops today, but I decided I better put some shoes on. So I did run in the house and put some shoes on. And we are on the end camera. Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've turned anything because I've been doing all this other setup and all the other stuff. I'm going to get a little more speed in here. Put this on the overhead for a second. We'll test out all the different views. I don't have any presets set in the camera system yet. That's something we'll be working on. And I get the focus set on the presets. I think we're going to make a barrel today. Yeah, it's been quite the adventure setting up all the new equipment. And like I've said before, you guys know I'm kind of an equipment geek or electronics geek. I have fun with it. What's my speed? Oh, I keep turning it up. It's about 1,000 now. Right there at 1,000. Spinorama. Let's see here. Again, I'm just making something simple. I do want to have enough contour to it that I can have to reach around the corner with the tool. Jump to the end. I don't even have the switches, the controller set to the titles listed. It just got numbers, so I have to remember what number is what. Let's see what this piece of wood looks like. We haven't really looked at it. So it is ambrosia maple. It's got the little bug holes in them, if you can see them there. Pretty little piece of wood. Just a little doodad here. Maybe we'll do a little something. We'll put a little extra profile on it right up here, just for fun. I'll show you back in the overhead. Alright, and that scraping lifted the grain, so we'll cut back downhill and clean that up. I didn't even sharpen this tool. It's right off of whatever Roper was doing with it last at AAW. But these Carter & Son tools, they do stay sharp for a long time. And I got a note from the other day that I've got quite a few of them on order, and they're finally shipping the rest of my order to me. So I should have a decent amount in stock here in the next week or so, if you're looking for Carter & Son. I kind of got a small cross section coming in. It looks, I like the picture so far I'm watching on Facebook there. It looks pretty good. Okay. Let's see. Just a little more refinement here. I do like doing small things. They're a nice challenge. When EasyWood Tools came out with their micro tools, I did a whole seminar at the woodworking shows on miniature pieces, micro pieces, if you will. A lot of fun. All right. I'm thinking that'll do for what we want to do. Okay, cool beans. Let's clean up the face here. So we'll pop back to the end camera. That overhead is nice, and you can see how much the lathe is moving on the wheels. But like I said, I'll get it off the wheels as soon as I finish getting everything all set up in here. All right, I'm excited to use this tool for the first time. I've used the big Proform, but I haven't used the little Flexi. And we'll just clean up this face. Now I could bore in some, and you know, get up that rim. I'm not going to drill a hole. I could drill a hole, and I could take the better part of this out with this bowl gouge if I actually wanted to, but that would kind of defeat the purpose of what we're after here today. So I think we'll go ahead and change over, okay, to the Flexi-Hollower. And just for fun, I don't think I'm really ever going to do this. These overlays, you know, I see some of the guys, you know, have themselves down in the corner, and I don't even know which button to push, but humor me, I'm going to push some buttons up here just to kind of see what happens. All right, so just humor me as I go through this row up here. I just kind of want to see what it looks like in the live feed. Some of these are just other presets. So that's me. Okay, so that's how that works. I don't know. Let me know if you guys think that you'd want to see me sit, back down in the corner here. If that's of interest, I don't know. I think it might be a distraction. I'm not sure. And that's actually the only one I was really looking at. The other thing would be, again, this is new. That's the background. That's me again. Nothing. There's the overhead shot. So that's a good one to have. And it's not in the way, so having the main shot here where we're working and then having the overhead, that's number 5 in an overlay for me, and it's out of the way. So that's not bad. That's actually pretty good, and that shouldn't be too distracting. I might just leave that there. That's the 2 main shots that I have right now. Okay. So I think I'll do that. We'll just leave that set like that. Again, I have a lot to learn. A lot to learn about my new system. All right, so the iron tool gate, another Woodcut product that goes with these tools. This thing's pretty slick. Hopefully it is set at the right height. I may need to adjust it. And we want to be cutting right around the center. And if you're not familiar with this tool, or any of the Proform hollowers, you have a brass cap, if you will. Call it a cap, call it a guard, they call it the power head. And this is actually a hook tool. When I turn it over, you can see that it's a hook tool here. And what this brass head does is it acts like a gauge that's referred to as the gauge. This gauge leaves just a little teeny bit of cutter edge showing, just a very small amount, and that way you don't get dig-ins. You don't get dig-ins, catches, etc. And you can cut all the way around with the tip, with the side. So very flexible, okay? And you can adjust the gauge. So far I have found, for me, if I adjust it, I mess it up. When it comes from the factory, it's set really nice. And you can sharpen these with a diamond card. You can just stroke the face and put a fresh little edge back on there, put a fresh new burr, and keep right on going. The tool gate, you can't quite see it there, too far away. I'll move it back up for a second. You have a big slot, and then the smaller one. And the big one is for the larger tool, and the small one is for the shaft, or this small tool. So that's going to drop right down in there like so. Okay. And you're not going to be, as I'm so zoomed in, you won't be able to see the tool rest in this particular case. But that's all right. And what I'm hoping is that I've got this camera angle, hopefully that I don't get in the picture when I kind of come over here like so. All right, so my shoulder's not showing up, so that's good. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get a sip of water and a face mask back on, and we're gonna start on inside of this guy. First time for myself using the Woodcut Tools Flexi-Hollower. And I've told you guys this before, I don't mind. I actually like, you know, doing something for the first time, because everybody has to start somewhere on a new tool. And so you can see whatever I run into that I might not foresee. So let's see what happens here. I'm just going to start right here in the center. Looks like I might need to come up just a little teeny bit. It's got a stop collar on it, but let me see without using the stop collar. Gives me, have to figure out how to get the center to cut there. Cutting the side is easy. And these do like to work from the inside out. Okay. Like I say, if I had drilled a hole in here, it would be much easier. But I chose not to, just to see what, you know, what it all is like. I may change my mind real quick. And I'm checking my tool height. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm going to try something here real quick, just because it's not going in as fast as I'd like it to. This is just an easy wood tool, and I'm just going to kind of bore myself a hole here real quick, right down through here, and see if it makes a difference. This piece of maple is really hard, and it is such a small diameter. I may just have to work myself a hole. Again, I don't have all my tools out yet. My tool rack isn't up. I'm going to move over just a little bit. Yeah, on something this small, drilling a hole down the center would have been the right choice. Let's try something else here real quick, since we have the stuff here to do it. I've got the little Wonder Tool hollower, which I have used a little bit. Has a this one's got a high-speed steel cutter in it right now. Let's see if I can't drop in here and drill myself a hole right down the center without making a mess or having an accident. We'll see what happens here. Oh yeah. So that lets me drill, kind of bore down through there. Again, if you don't have, let's say you don't have a drill chuck set up, like I don't have one today set up, you need a way to get that inside this guy. And that's what's so nice about this twin collet tool. See how fast I changed that tool out? Just a quick twist to the collet. And off we went. And so I can change back and forth quickly. All right, cool. Just that quick. Change the tool. Let's see. Trying to read the screen here. How come I don't use Forstner bit? Because I don't have all that stuff pulled back out. That's what I would normally do, but since I'm just getting the studio set up, all that stuff is still put away over in another building. But yes, that would be the trick, and that's what I would normally do, is drill down through there with a Forstner bit, and the center would be gone. But I don't have all those tools out. That's absolutely the way to go. But we don't have all the toys out here yet. So, let's try this. Pardon my reach. Actually, I'm going to walk around this way. I think this is the right one. Again, like I said, this is the first time I have ever used this tool. So, I believe this will articulate. Yep. So we can make it, put a little turn to it. All right. And then tighten her back up. And we can articulate it here as well. That's the second one. Hey Frank, good afternoon. Thanks for dropping in. All right. So just a little reach around the corner there. Not a lot, but just a little bit. We'll see what happens. Much nicer with a little bit of depth down in there to work with. Stop and clear it out. And the lathe is kind of funny. I'm going to punch to 3 here real quick. The lathe being up on wheels, it's actually too high. You can see it's very uncomfortable. I'm 5'8" or so, but it's up on these wheels that are about 3 inches off the floor. And so it's actually quite uncomfortable trying to hold the tool. So I'll be happy to get this thing back down on the ground. And we were shooting the number 6, I believe. There we go. Dutchman says he's using the carbide chisels. Yeah, they're great. Lorianne, hey, how you doing? Yes, the work is paying off on the studio here, Lorianne. Earlier I was talking about I'm still working on it. I got a long way to go with the setup, but each week I get out here and chisel at it a little bit more, and I'm really happy. I was telling Bridget I'm really happy with how it's working. It's just it's a matter of time. And it's good to see you. Hope my shoulder's not in the way. So I'm curious. I'm turning 1,000. I'm going to do this just as an experiment. I'm going to turn this down to 500. Just as an experiment. Well, let's say 600. I'm going to slow it down and see how it cuts differently. It is more controllable. The higher speed is a little harder to control. The lower speed does make it easier to control. Something to keep in mind. And it's going to depend on what you're doing. If you think about it, this thing is all of maybe 2 inches in diameter, and the hole is probably 1.25 inches. So if it had a larger diameter, it's going to be going, faster on the outside edge, things like that. Just play with it. That's what I'm doing. And, oh, don't do that, Bradley. That's why you don't leave it running when you move your tool rest. We always say don't do that, but we do it anyway. That's a great shot. I like that. You can see right in there how the tool is working. And I can come right up the wall there. I actually probably need to back this tool rest off just a fuzz so I can pull all the way out. But that means I have to extend the handle out, the shaft out just a little bit. There we go. And again, it does like to cut. You can see that this is, see that big shaving coming out of there? There's no dust and chips. I mean, that's a nice clean, that's a full peel cut right there. I actually do like the tool rest a little closer from a leverage standpoint. Nope, don't do that. He keeps saying don't do that. Come right up the wall. Okay, so I'm going to stop and articulate this a little bit more. Again, this is a nice experimental turning project for me today. And I'm going to articulate it back here. He says. There we go. So you can also, like I said, you can adjust it back here as well. 2 places to turn it. So the more, I know this to be from other things, the more we articulate it, the more leverage the tool's going to have as you cut with it. So it makes it, let's say, more challenging to control. Okay. But it lets you reach around the corner. And we'll see if I've got too much articulation in it now or not. Okay, Dutchman, we'll see you later. Thanks for dropping in. So I have to be careful because I'm rubbing the other side. So too much articulation. That didn't really catch the cutter so much as it just bound up the whole guy in there. That's how we learn. I think we'll take that extra articulation back out of it. What do you think, gang? Well, it actually took it out itself. It straightened it right back up. Oh, stay here. Trying to keep it where you can see as I adjust this. Okay. Now we get to clean that up. Again, this maple is pretty hard. And once you get the cut just right, you can just ride right up the wall. Now the chips they're big chips and they're not coming out, so they're starting to load up. So my wall is about 1/4 of an inch thick right here. And I'm going to run in with the carbide tool again real quick and give myself a little more depth. See if I can't get it. Oh no, I used the little wonder tool. That's right. Got so many tools here. We'll just run this down in here and dig ourselves a little bit more to the bottom. I'm about 2/3 of the way down inside there. There we go. I don't have my air compressor set back up yet either for blowing chips out of things. A little bit more. And this little wonder tool comes either with a carbide cutter or a high-speed steel cutter. I think I said earlier, this is the high-speed steel. Okay, we're plenty deep now. We're all the way down as far as we want to go to the bottom. Dutchman says, I'll have to message you sometime. Got questions for you. That's fine. Good old Messenger works just fine. I usually answer up until about 10 o'clock at night when I go to bed. I am an adamant 10 o'clock person. I go to bed 10 o'clock, and ask my wife. So again, this quick change of the tool is so nice. Lock that collet down. All right. So in the screen, the things in the background don't look too bad. Been having trouble with the key and all, or trying to get it adjusted, but that looks all right. Back to the overhead, and oh, that's overhead and overhead. We want end and overhead. There we go. I get it worked out. Let me get a quick sip of water here. Well, I hope you're finding this useful, interesting, etc. Here's something I want to do. I'm going to change, I don't think it'll affect things too much. I'm going to change the angle of my headstock just so I don't have to reach quite so far over. And everybody can still all be seen. You lose a little bit of that top one, but not too bad. Let me see if I can't bump it to where you still see that. Okay, we'll leave it right there. Lock everything back down. Just gives me a little bit better angle to attack. The other thing would be to slide it all the way down to the end. 3. Slide your headstock if you've got a slider, slide it down, and if you can, so you don't have to reach over. It's not necessary, but it makes it handy. Okay, let's go back in here again. It moves a lot of material in a hurry. So now I'm really just starting to work my way back up the wall. And they do make a scraper head attachment for this as well. So like pretty close to where I'm at, a little bit more, you could switch over to the scraper head and then just clean up real nice and smooth inside. I got a couple of ridges in here now that I'm stepping over. I'll move that tool rest in a little bit closer. Big old curly shavings coming out of there. All right. That's cool beans. So I've got a step right there in the very center that I'll take out. It's actually quite easy to have a consistent wall up through here. And I'm trying to find right down in the bottom there. And then right up through here. I keep stopping to check that wall. There it goes. So now that wall is gone down there. Yeah. And again, I slowed it back down. I slowed it down to so like 630. All right. I haven't made anything this small in a while either. That's a real nice. I know you can't. You can kind of see in here. That's a real nice smooth finish. The wall is nice and uniform. You know, you could keep going all day long, however thin you wanted to make it. But that's working quite well. One thing you do want to check once in a while, make sure you don't have a shaving that's caught up between the guide, if you will, and the cutter right here. I got a little bit right there. And what I do is go, follow me, know, I love my ice pick. My dad gave me this, and it's a great thing for just popping that little stuff out of there. Gets it out of the way. I like that. All right, I'm gonna do just a little bit more just because, and I'm gonna take it up, out of curiosity, I'm gonna take it up to 800. I was at 1,000 before, then I went to 600. So I'm gonna see what happens up around 800. Just to experiment. Definitely a little bit easier to control at the slower speeds, especially down on the bottom. So that's a good lesson learned. At least in this particular case, the slower speed is more conducive. Just trying to just take the wall down a little bit more. It's already uniform. All right. Well, that worked out really well. All right. Now, from when I had that articulated too much and I actually bound up on the other side, I've got a little bit of torn up in here. So I'm going to clean that up just with the carbide tool. And what's kind of interesting with this tool rest, even though it's designed for the hollowing tools, it works with the square shaft tool as well. It's okay, right? Need to go up just a fuzz. It's the radius, the hole is so small that the bottom of the tool is hitting. Now, if I could lay hands on a micro real quick, let me try this. I'm going to go over here and dig around in a drawer. See, y'all bear with me for a second because I don't have my tool rack up. All right. I don't know how this will work. This is a little Easywood Tools micro. All right, and I just want that smaller radius. It's got a negative rate cutter on it. so it won't be very aggressive. But I just want to clean that edge up. See how this works. No, that's just not going to do it. Just not going to do it. So, let's do this. When all else fails, we're just going to use the edge of this bowl gouge. Just clean that right up. No need to fight it. All better. And there's still enough material left here on the outside that if I wanted to reshape this, I could. All right, now, if I had been thinking really far ahead today, if I had been thinking far ahead, I would have some of my new sandpaper, the Spiracraft carrying, the Endesa Rhino Grip sandpaper. I would have had some sandpaper right here just to hit this real quick, even though I don't really want to sand in the studio with all these electronics. I really want to keep the dust down in here. But I could have showed you the new sandpaper. But it's over in another building. Oop, sorry for the noise. So that was fun. That was a quick little, let me take it out of here. Quick little project. Another nice shakedown cruise for the studio. And I'll show you in the overhead. And I'll switch to the overhead so I can get it in here. We'll see how that looks on the big screen. You can see that it's quite clean. I got a little bit right up to here, at top edge, a little bit of ridge. But you can see how well that's and clean it's cut across the bottom. Get those shavings out of there. Oop, go this way. Other than right up there at the top, I've got some lines. But nice and cleanly cut, coming right off the bottom there and around the corner. Pretty nice. Again, I could spend some time up there on that upper edge and clean it up. If you had the scraper kit in place, you could drop right in there and clean that up. And the only reason being because you can stick your finger in here, so somebody can stick their finger in there, and you don't want to spend all day sanding that away. You can see there. So a nice little piece, just a little something fun to play with a tool. This little piece of scrap wood. That's one of the best ways to find out how a new tool works. You don't have anything invested in your piece of wood. So if it doesn't work out right, well, you haven't really lost anything, and you find out how the tool works and start to get a clue for it. And I don't know. I'll save this for something. I got hundreds of things. I'll save it around just like I'd save the blank. This actually is for a lidded box. I used to cut a whole bunch of whole lidded box blanks of the tops and bottoms, and I'd make like 100 of them or something, and tape them together, let them dry, and then have them. When I used to do art and craft shows, I'd take a mini lathe out to the shows and make lidded boxes. They're doing live demonstration in the booth. Always, if you can do live demonstrations and you're selling art and craft shows, you'll sell a whole lot more. It's a great way to do it. So anyway, I had a bunch of these, and this is missing its mate when I looked for something quick this morning. So it was a good little piece to work with. Good deal. I should get rid of that overlay. There we go. I'm learning how to use a new controller. This one is wireless. And the wire is only here is for the power. I do have another controller for the other HDMI cameras that I have to get that worked into the system. But good fun today with the Woodcut tools, Flexi-Hollower, twin collet tool handle. We use the little Wonder tool with the high-speed cutter. Also does come with the carbide iron gate tool rest. real slick little guy. So if anybody's got any questions, fire away. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up pretty quick here. Just keeping it to an hour today, approximately. I do appreciate everybody coming by as I get everything back together. Like I say, I have fun out here. I enjoy setting this up and making the demonstrations. But now with the newer cameras, I'm looking forward to seeing how this reviews. It's looking pretty good. I've got a monitor down below here where I'm seeing the Facebook feed, and the image looks pretty good. And I hope the sound is working along as well. And yeah, that's all good. I'm having fun. And so I had thought about trying to get the Thursday night on this week, would be tonight, but shoot for next week. I don't have the audio components, are still out in a warehouse. I haven't brought them into the control room yet. I was focusing more on getting these cameras set up. So I will shoot for hopefully maybe next Thursday night. That's a 7 p.m. And in the Spiracraft Wood and Resin group on Facebook, I post the link, and it's a Google Meet, so it's a live, virtual meeting, so we can talk back and forth and have conversation, and that's usually an hour long on Thursday nights from 7 to 8 o'clock Eastern. And it's always a lot of fun, and sometimes we talk wood turning, sometimes we talk who knows what. It's just a nice gathering of friends and turners, all in the same place. And it's right here in the studio. I'm right here on the lathe. If you have questions, and typically, if you have a question about something I did, used to be on Mondays, I would do Monday methods, and then I do that on Thursday night. But same thing holds true. Whatever I do Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, if you have questions, we'll jump back in with me on Thursday nights, and we'll have a chat in a live forum. So with that, I don't see any other questions coming through. So I think I'm going to say thank you very much, and we will wrap this up today. Now it tells me also, I've been told that I can stop the stream from here. So I'm going to try and see if this really works. I think it will. There's a red button on the screen here that tells me what's going on, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, if anybody's got any questions, message me, send an email, info@Spiracraft. Appreciate everybody coming out today. I'll see you all again next week, next Thursday. And if I get my act together, I will core some big green pecan with the new Max 4 bowl coring system. And also, I got an email from Woodcut that they are going to start shipping my express orders of bowl savers here in the next couple of days. And my ocean freight is going out, I believe, next week. So got a whole bunch of Max 4 bowls. Bowl cutters, bowl coring systems on the way coming out of New Zealand. Okay, thank you everybody. I will see you next week. Take care. Be safe. Top stream says.